but this is Kurz, and it is Modern Warfare 2, and I hope that you're as excited as I am, because I am extremely excited to get to playing tomorrow, because yep, tomorrow is the pre-access or early access of Modern Warfare 2 with only the campaign. But I am so excited for this campaign, mainly because I've never been so excited for a campaign in any Call of Duty, especially Call of Duty, ever, but any game really, even though some games are only campaigns. I think a good example of that is Fallout. I would say that I'm more excited. Well, I never was excited. Fallout was just amazing. I wasn't never excited for it. It was out of the water, blew my expectations out of the water. But that's another story. But I've never been so excited to play a campaign in my life, actually. And that's because hopefully, I mean, I don't want to put expectations too high, but hopefully this story is going to be as stressful and suspenseful and mysterious as I feel like it's going to be, with as many open-ended questions as answered as are given by the end of playing and watching the actual campaign. And I know that sorry. Just let's go. We're basically ready. But I am that excited because the first I didn't actually play the first campaign. I only watched stuff online just because I was more into the multiplayer and Warzone and all that good stuff. So I never really played it, but I've always been pretty interested in the stories of all of Treyarch and Infinity Ward and Sledgehammer, and all their stories have been pretty good with throughout campaign to zombies. But since Modern Warfare, I did watch it, and I remember watching it and being like, okay, like it was interesting, it was good, but it wasn't really shaping up to be anything as good as the first story. But now, looking back on the last 3 years and looking at what's to come, and what that first game really was, if I really think about it, it was setting up so much. And with the first stories, I feel like they were a lot more centralized around the people that made them and the people that they were made for. And with that being said, in my opinion, I feel like the game was less realistic just because it didn't touch on a lot of touchy subjects that in that time those subjects really weren't going to be touched on as much. What is going on here? Hold on. I'm supposed to... So do what I ask. How about that? Yeah. That'd be nice. But as time goes on, I think we as human beings are been more acceptable of everybody, and with that comes, I think, greater stories, better entertainment, more realistic views, and more ideas and knowledge that not necessarily everybody would know, and also that comes from multiple cultures and multiple perspectives. And with that being said, I think that shows or is going to come up really amazingly in Modern Warfare's campaign with how the story is told. And think about how, or if I compare the story of Modern Warfare with the story of what's going on in our lives as human beings and the things that are happening in
money, weapons,
the world right now, it seems to be, in my opinion, not identical. Obviously it's honed in onto a certain, it's going to be honed into a certain topic and certain things like that, but just the greater overall universe of this new COD reboot, I think they're actually really doing an amazing job. And obviously that is still due to tell, and tomorrow we're going to be getting right into it and playing the new campaign, and seeing the story firsthand and live on here. We'll be doing it here live, but hopefully it is going to be as great as I'm portraying, because that would be exciting. It'd be something new and cool to see people get more into with the campaign. I've never been into the campaign, and I'm already into the campaign, and I haven't really watched any trailers or anything. The only reason I've gotten so much into this campaign is, well, we'll get into it here into the next, when we talk with this video that I want to share with y'all. But that it is going to be it hopefully is going to be an upgrade from
we got intel reports of Hassan and the cartel forming terrorist cells all over the globe.
Can you just do what I want? Yeah? How do I do? Yeah. So yeah, let's get into it, I guess. This is my cool idea isn't being so cool, so I'll do this instead. Just because I don't want to play with it all day. All right, well, let's get into it. This is I'm not INKSLASHER, I believe is how you pronounce his YouTube. You can check him out. The description, the link is in the description. The description is in the link. The link is in the description, and also the link for the past Dragon Ball videos are also in the link as well, so you can check those out there. But let's hear what he has to say about the new operators that are in Call of Duty.
We got a ton of information for Modern Warfare 2. They put out a blog post, it discussed multiplayer, all the weapons in the game, how leveling was going to work, and we went over that yesterday, as well as talking about how to get early access to the game, a buyer's guide, and everything like that. But one thing that we got inside of that blog post yesterday was all of the operators that are going to be in the game at launch and all of their backstories, which, if you guys know me at all, I love story for Call of Duty. We always go in depth with story, and that is exactly what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be diving into...
Which is good to hear. I mean, it's not every day that people like the actual story to the CODs. Usually they're just
all of those operators, every single one of their backstories, breaking them down, talking about how they tie into the overall story of Modern Warfare and Modern Warfare 2. So I'm excited for this one. If you like Call of Duty story, if you want to see more videos like this one once the game releases, all you got to do to show me is hit that like button. But without further ado, we have a lot of characters to talk about, so let's dive into it. So as far as the operators and how they work within Modern Warfare 2, essentially there is 25 operators at launch. 2 milsim operators are characters from campaign, the ones you can see at the bottom, Farah, Ghost, Price, and Soap. Alongside these, we have 18 different operators that you can unlock via challenges in Spec Ops, campaign, and multiplayer. And once you...
So how that works is these 12 operators right here are going to be probably the more main characters that you follow throughout the story that are on Price's side or fight with Price. And then the other 12 that we're going to see a bit later, those are the people that are going to be more or less fighting against our Captain Price, although a lot of them are mercenaries on both sides or CIA agents that have missions that are colliding with each other or don't coincide with each other. So, yeah.
You unlock all of them, you can use them in both Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer and Spec Ops, and of course, once Warzone 2 comes out, that as well. Now, essentially, there are 2 different factions of operators. They say that both of these are paid for mercenaries, and essentially they're fighting against each other within the games. Now, it appears as though the one that we are looking at here, the first one we're going to look at called the Spec Group, they're essentially the good guys. They're the one that Ghost, Price, Soap, and Farah are on, so we can kind of assume that these are the good guys. Now, each of these characters has their own backstory. There's a lot to dive into here, so let's start out from the very beginning. So the first character we have is Manuel Chuy Ordaz. And as far as this goes, there's going to be a lot of things throughout these bios that I mispronounce. I just want to get that out of the way right away. He is a Mexican soldier formerly enlisted in the Cuerpo de Fuerzas Especial off the recommendation of Alejandro Vargas.
Which that picture isn't gameplay. Just to let everybody know. It might be a real, I believe it is a real counterpart, or the counterpart to the game. This is the real version.
Now, what we know about Vargas is he is a member of Task Force 141, and he is one of the leaders of the Los Vercos. Now, using the knowledge he gained while serving in the Mexican Special Forces, he currently trains locals to defend against cartel corruption, even when outmanned or outgunned. And as we know, this is going to be a big thing throughout the campaign, the cartel and fighting against the cartel with Task Force 141 and Los Vaqueros. Next up, we have Sabasla,
which is pretty cool. So with the 2 trailers, or the few trailers that have come out, it's shown a greater conflict going on, but more of an inner conflict of a drug war, of some kind of drug cartel, and so that's going to be interesting to see how that all plays out.
Gromsko Koskuisko, again, gonna mispronounce a lot. He is a Polish modern-day Hauser, part of the Wojciech 2305, aka the Group of Operational Maneuvering Response, known for his extensive medical training and ability to conduct covert operations, just as the group's motto always suggests. Not really much to take away from him, other than the fact that he's a medic.
What do I, oh yeah, I wanted to do also with each character if I think they're gonna live or die through the campaign. So with Chu, or Chu, whatever his name is, I think I think we're gonna see him have a living day. I think this man, as the medic, unfortunately, I don't think he's gonna survive through the campaign. Also, they might not show up in the campaign either, so that is a possibility as well.
The next character is Gustavo Gus Rodriguez. He is a Costa Rican police officer within the Unidad Especial de Intervención, Counterterrorism, and Hostage Unit, specializing in asset rescue and protection, formerly a member of his country's Policía Pública law enforcement agencies.
There's something just about that guy's face that makes me feel like he's going to do some double crossing or something, and by the end of the campaign, he's not. He doesn't look like he's going to be very helpful.
So essentially, he is a police officer and he specializes in counterterrorism.
And just with the idea he's, a police officer makes you think, okay, well, he's a good guy, very good guy. I don't know. Maybe I'm just thinking too hard.
And on top of that, hostage rescue. Our next character goes by the name of Cleo, aka Cleopatra's.
She is pretty for an NPC. She is very pretty.
Gavres, and she comes from a Greek Zeta Amphibious Raider Squadron, aka ZMAC. This Special Forces officer is a part of the Greater Hellenic Armed Forces. She specializes in stealth combat and is known for her green eyes of Hades, the last thing to see your enemies before their death. This is where things get interesting because we have some Modern Warfare 2019 references here. So, see...
I think that both either I think I want to see her live through I'll say I want to see her live through the campaign, but it's more than likely that she's not gonna make it all the way through the campaign. I don't know, it just seems she just has that overly she just does it. I don't know. It's hard to explain. It's that character that looks like they could be the main character, but always ends up goofing up or doing something silly that ends up not ends up ending their life. And then we're going to go on to Luna here.
Luna Mingzhu is a first-generation Singaporean American and a West Point graduate. She is part of the ground branch within the CIA's Special Activities Center, or SAC, which we've seen many times in Black Ops Cold War and Modern Warfare, following the refusal of promotion. They were critical in tracking down the Al-Qatala cell responsible for the London terror attacks in Modern Warfare's 2019 campaign. So essentially what that's talking about is the Piccadilly Circus attack within Modern Warfare 2019. This character was responsible for tracking the Al-Qatala down who had actually done this. In other words, the person responsible for getting to the clean house in the clean house mission.
And it's probably going to be that the top row is only going to have the one person I said that's going to die in the very beginning, and the other ones either aren't going to show up in the campaign or they're going to survive. That's my final say, I think. Or if they're going with a bloody campaign, then that first one's going to die, and then those other two are also either one's going to double cross and end up on the other side, or going to die and then she's going to die. But if we're going with more mild, I think it's only that one. And then for this one, I think she's going to end up not making it, this lady.
Neela Nova Brown, a British 42nd Commando L Company leader within the Royal Marines, specializing in rescuing downed airmen. A third-generation pilot, her nickname was awarded to her after her Royal Air Force mission, where she sacrificed her aircraft to destroy another in supernova fashion. Enzo Reyes.
So it sounds like with her, she has a bit of medical background history to her, but also can be a little bit of a loose cannon, it almost sounds like. And just by the expression on her face, and she just seems like she isn't going to take much from many people, she's a survivor. But if we're going bloody campaign, I'm going 2 campaigns. We're going bloody campaign, and then just your normal, I think, everyday campaign. It's probably going to be the everyday campaign. But if it's a bloody campaign, she's definitely done. But if it's not, she's in the clear. She'll live.
As a former Canadian Special Operations Regiment member with encyclopedic knowledge of military history and small team tactics, after lying about his age and forging signatures for selection, he butted heads with instructors before serving multiple tours in Al-Mazrah and Urzikstan. So Al-Mazrah is...
So that one's a bit hard. So it sounds like he I don't know exactly. It's I don't know. He just his background seems a little bit shady to me, but I think overall he's a good guy. I think he's gonna end up being a really good guy. And
is where the Warzone 2 map takes place.
I don't know if he's gonna show up in the campaign, but if he does, I feel like that it's gonna be somebody you're gonna like by the end of the campaign. And
Urzikstan is obviously from Modern Warfare 2019.
But if it is a bloody campaign, then that changes everything. He's gonna be a double crosser, and he's gonna be double crossing, and he's gonna be shady, and he's gonna die.
Leaving in 2020 to join the multinational's deniable forces. Ziqiang Zimo Wang is a Chinese private military contractor and formerly a member of the Sharp Blade Commandos.
Sharp Blade Commandos. Now, if I don't remember correctly, weren't there like a bunch of random things in Call of Duty and emblems and stuff with the in Modern Warfare Call of Duty with the operators that came out and all the other stuff that the store stuff that came out? I feel like there was a sharp blade in there, something to do, like had blades, maybe a snake on there or something. I'm not exactly sure. It's been forever since I played. But I feel like we have heard of that command or that group squad of soldiers before.
I really don't have much to say about that one, nor do I know what the Sharp Blade Commandos are. This next one is so exciting to me because we finally get some information on Hadir. Our next character is Farah Karim,
So she is the main character from the last Call of Duty. She did a lot of badass things in the last one. But she obviously has some ties to a lot of the bad guys. We'll just say the bad guys in the game as well. So we'll see. And yeah, also I think that I believe it said he was a Chinese militant. I believe the Chinese man, I believe he'll survive. 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 No, that's a hard one. I don't know. Okay, this is what I'm thinking. So, if it for the normal campaign, he'll survive. But I'm thinking, I feel like that he could like only show up for a little bit and then like die in an explosion or something. Kind of like how they did to oh man, I forget his name, but the guy in Gears, the recruit, the new recruit in Gears, that everybody was like, oh, he's so awesome, then he like died or got blown up in the airplane like right in the first scene. Something like that. But I think he'll live. And then if it's a bloody campaign, he's gonna live as well. But he might end up being a bad guy. Maybe.
We know she is the founder and leader of the Urzikstan Liberation Force, a trusted ally to Task Force 141, and a estranged sister to Hadir, an Al-Qatala asset whose fate is currently unknown. In other words, we're going to see more from Hadir. I still think he's Khalid al-Assad, just my opinion, but I'm very glad that they included that in her bio because it brings up a whole bunch of red flags for me.
Oof. It depends. It depends on if they're doing a 3-part series for the Modern Warfare like the original, or if it's not. I gotta say she's gonna live.
Wait to see what they do with this.
Okay, she's gonna live, but if it's a bloody, gory campaign, she's gonna be undetermined to be alive or dead or alive, undetermined. And she also is undetermined if she's good or bad in a bloody campaign.
Moving on to Simon Ghost Riley, a lieutenant.
Okay, Ghost living, that's just easy. He's alive for both bloody and non-bloody.
Within Task Force 141, serving on numerous short-term covert assignments in classified location, redacted past, a man of few words, legendary soldier that needs no introduction. I think that's a very good description of him. One thing that's interesting there is he is now a lieutenant within Task Force 141, which means he's going to be one of the leaders and not just a follower of Captain Price. Captain John Price, we've got a new one here. I want you to pay close attention to what this description says.
All right, so with Price, hear me out. In a bloody campaign, it's either going to be Price or Ghost that is going to die by the end of the campaign. Now, the reason is just because of the non-bloody campaign, partially, and because of the fact that they are bringing in a new character that hasn't seen as much action, but is more going to be a frontliner, that we have a chance to get rid of Price or Ghost. Now, it is a new universe, so we don't really know. It's up in the air to see where their lives end up leading them.
Former 22nd Special Air Service Regiment member known by call sign Bravo 6. This is the stuff we already know, but currently leads Joint Operations Squadron Task Force 141 with the help of CIA Station Chief Kate Laswell and oversight of General Shepard under the Five Eyes Alliance. Now, I did a little bit of research, and the Five Eyes Alliance is actually a thing. It's an alliance composed of Australia, Canada, New Zealand, the UK, and the United States, and it's basically an intelligence community within the CIA and things like that, which will probably, since it's in his bio, play a larger role within the campaign. So
is that an actual thing in the lore of Call of Duty, or an actual thing in real life? I should look that up. Or you should look that up, because I don't want to waste everybody's time if they don't want to look that up. But interesting. That would be interesting. Five Eyes Alliance. It just sounds kind of interesting name if it is a real thing.
Stay tuned for more about that.
And if it is a normal campaign, Price is also surviving.
And then finally, we have our new guy, Johnny Soap McTavish. I thought his name was just John McTavish, but I guess it's Johnny. As far as he goes, sniper and demolitions expert, hand-selected for Task Force 1.
All right, so if it is a normal campaign, depending on where I feel like where they head with the story, in my opinion, I think Soap in a normal campaign is gonna hit the bucket. He's gonna hit the bucket. He's gonna hit it hard. He's gonna hit the bucket hard. It's just unfortunate, but he has to. That's all I can really say about that. But if it is a bloody campaign, he will survive or die, depending on if Price and Ghost survive or die. If Price and Ghost survive, then he will die. If Ghost and Price, or if Ghost survive and Price die, he will die. And then if wait. If Ghost dies, if Ghost survives and Price survives, then he, in a bloody campaign, then or in a in a normal campaign, then he will die. Or in a bloody campaign, he will die. That's a normal campaign. So if Price, I'm confusing myself. If if Ghost lives and Price dies, he will die as well. If they both die, then Soap will live. That's what I meant to say. Okay, jeez, that was confusing. I confused myself. So yeah, Price or Soap has a 1 out of 3% chance, in my opinion, of living through the campaign.
For one, youngest candidate to pass Special Air Service selection in the Royal Army history, known for cleaning house as a highly decorated officer under the tutelage of Captain John Price. So seemingly, when he is introduced in this game, it's going to be a very similar relationship to what we saw in the previous Modern Warfare trilogy, where he is kind of under the wing of Captain Price, and I can't wait to see that relationship formed and where it's going to go in the campaign. So moving over to the core tack, essentially what I'm seeing from these guys is they're not necessarily bad guys. Again, both of these groups are paid for mercenaries, but these ones have much less tie-ins to the overall Modern Warfare story and seemingly fight against the other guys a lot of the time. So yeah, I guess you could call them the bad guys. But moving into their characters, the first one we have is Tor Axel Eriksson, a Norwegian, good luck saying this one, Marine Jäger Commandoin, an all-around specialist, considered a modern-day Viking with a full spectrum of abilities, from diving to halo jumping, EOD to hostage rescue situations. So essentially a jack of all trades and Norwegian. That's what I took from this one.
I think he's a survivor in Bloody or either one. I just think he's a survivor.
Callisto Allard, a French-Spanish...
I also think that he has a chance to be like kind of an anti or a protagonist, a main character as a villain mercenary, like, you know, one of the more, oh boy, watch out for him kind of thing.
Descent of France's last royal family who rebelled to join the elite Chasseurs Alpines of the 27th Mountain Infantry Brigade. An expert of high-altitude combat known for incredible accuracy, especially her preferred weapon, the bow. That is interesting.
We're definitely just going to see her showing up in the campaign, like, just like we're in the middle of a hard mission and then pew, you hear a sniper, get down, and you eventually figure out it was her sniping at you.
Because as of right now, a crossbow or bow isn't in the game whatsoever, so maybe we'll see that's added at some point into the game. Connor Magnusson, an Icelandic...
So I think that she's a survivor.
Coast Guard member who at one point was recruited by Kate Laswell for a special operation. So we don't know what that operation is. Maybe it'll come into play within the campaign. We'll have to wait and see, but...
I think this guy is a dirty player. I think he's a liar and a scumbag, and he treats people like trash. I just don't know why I feel that way, but I do. I don't know anything about him if that's the case. If he's a really nice dude and really caring, then I'm sorry. I'm sorry, NPC, for calling you that, Connor. I also feel like he is going to die at the end of a normal campaign or not even be in it. A lot of these people might not even be in it. Or yeah, he's gonna die.
But that is all the information we have on Connor. Fender Takacs, a Hungarian Zazalos, in other words, a master sergeant of the country's defense forces, who...
This guy is definitely a gonzo. I just have a feeling, Hollywood feeling, that he's gonna end up dying in some kind of explosion.
Specializes in high-value targets, demolitions, and urban warfare. Raised without knowing the identity of his father, a great CIA operator, he was told to always hide his face, doing so with a custom helmet. Now, that one's really interesting to me because...
It's also interesting to me, just by how it's referenced here, because it says he was told to always hide his face, which is referring to that he's no longer told, which can be interpreted any way you want, but it just makes me feel like he's no longer alive.
They raise a lot of questions. Who is his father? And he's a great CIA operator. You know it's going to come into play somehow. You know we're going to figure it out. So that is one thing I'm looking forward to doing once the game actually comes out. You know we're going to be diving into that. Kim Harangi Hong Jin. This is one of the beta operator skin rewards, and he is a South Korean gambler turned soldier of fortune. Once assigned to the ROK Armed Forces 13th Special Mission Brigade, an expert in subduing high-value targets with extreme risk tendencies.
So we're probably not going to see him show up in the campaign. If he does, he's going to be probably one of the followers in a mission, and is more likely going to survive in all cases, scenarios, if he ever does show up in a campaign.
Really not too much to take away from that one, other than he likes gambling. So this one's weird. It kind of breaks the fourth wall a little bit. Darnell Hutchinson, an American college football athlete turned Marine network and data specialist. With the help of the Call of Duty endowment, he found employment in private cybersecurity sector after 4 years of active duty service, but ultimately transitioned back once he learned about the Marine Corps Force's Cyber Command. So essentially, he often works behind computers, but he is now a part of this Marforce Cyber. Koenig, an Austrian jag...
And again, just by the way it's said, it very much alludes to him no longer being alive. So I feel like personally, just if it's the wording and it's not really, then he is a survivor in the non-bloody, and he dies in the bloody.
Commando within his country's special forces, only known to be a mountain of a man with a sniper hood covering his face. Really not much to go off of there. He uses a sniper and he covers his face.
So this man, he's a survivor, and we're not going to know much about him for either ever, or we might get a reveal in a game in the future, or DLC or something.
Roslyn Rose Helms, you may recognize that name from Modern Warfare 2019, an American Army Ranger who was formerly contacted by the Jackals to eliminate Al-Qatala in Africa, and Shadow Company to seek order in Verdansk. So again, the same character from Modern Warfare 2019. Highly sought after for her proficiency in small unit tactics and close combat engagements. In other words, her character's outfit in Modern Warfare 2019 was so dark that in Warzone she could hide in corners and no one could see her. She then ripped up her contract within the tumultuous company and her dark suits in early 2022 to align with Spec Crew. Okay, that's hilarious. They even acknowledged the fact that her outfit was way too dark in Modern Warfare 2019. I didn't expect to read that. Salvatrice Stiletto Musel.
So, yeah.
An Italian law.
I think that she's a survivor of the campaign, both bloody and non.
Enforcement officer within the Carabinieri's anti-mafia and anti-drug task force, notorious for her signature switchblade, so maybe we'll be seeing that as a DLC melee weapon, a fearless urban warfare specialist that used her experience against the Camorra to train police forces against their other crime syndicates and terrorist cells, including those in Los Alamos. So that is the terrorist cell within Mexico that we see in the campaign, so she kind of worked and helped train people to fight against those drug cartels and terrorists and things like that, which is interesting and a cool tie-in to the campaign. This next
I think that she probably isn't going to show up as much in the campaign, if at all, but if she does, she'll be fine. She might not even shoot a gun in the campaign. I feel like if she does show up, it might be like barking orders, maybe. I don't know. I have no idea. But if she does show up, that'd be really cool. If she does have more of a leading role, I think she's a survivor in a bloody campaign. She somehow gets double crossed and is dead.
character is interesting because out of any of the characters, this is one of the ones that gives us by far the most backstory into the actual character. So Sami Zero Zakaria, an Egyptian Task Force 777 operator, part of the counterterrorism unit within the country's premier El Saka forces. His name comes from his journey to service, grief-stricken after surviving a nightclub attack that saw him lose his sister. He sacrificed his opulent and privileged life for a selfless position in protecting others. This is like a Black Ops 4 backstory. I'm wondering if we get some sort of cutscene for this, because that's pretty cool to see that much backstory for a character, and I'm wondering if we get more on it. Similarly, another...
Well, I'm assuming that they're going to show up in campaign. Either they do or don't, but it is sometimes, I noticed in the last one there was a few times that characters I thought might have shown up just for a split second, if anything. But I think that he is going to be a survivor, and he's going to survive both. And I think it's a big nod in his name because it says he's a part of organization.
Another character that has a lot of backstory is Hiro Oni Watanabe. Now, this is a PlayStation exclusive character, which I don't love to see, but this is a Japanese descendant of a centuries-old samurai clan who left home as a teenager to avoid following his father's wishes of him joining a crime syndicate. After serving abroad, he joined his country's special assault team, but...
I can already say he's a dead man. He's dead and gone. He dies. He's dead.
Was dishonorably discharged thanks to the influence and power of his father. Now a leader of the same syndicate, currently Oni is a gun for hire who vows for justice under the old samurai.
Oh, I didn't listen to the whole thing. After I listened to the whole thing,
code. So his father...
he's a survivor. He's a survivor. I take that back. He's a survivor.
There is a higher up in a crime syndicate, and he decided to fight him instead of joining him. So those are all of the characters. As I mentioned, these Kortak characters are not bad guys. It just seems as though they are fighting against our main characters of Task Force 141. So I think that's more so how they will be perceived. I'm interested to see what the story of these two different clans kind of are moving forward, how that story is pushed forward. But we'll have to wait and see, and time will tell. I'm hoping we get more and more backstory on new characters, on these characters. There's a lot of questions left unanswered, like for Farah, for example, or Fender, his father being the CIA asset. It's going to be interesting to see where these stories go moving forward, but this is what we have for now. If you enjoyed the video, always appreciate it if you hit that like button. New to the channel, make sure you subscribe.
So yeah, that's the operators that are going to be on launch, and we're going to be checking out everything that the campaign has to offer in around 12 hours. Maybe a little bit more than that, I believe, or yeah, I think so. A little more than that, maybe a little less than that. So we'll be on the story, checking out any secrets that we can find with these characters. I want to keep my eyes open for all of them, see if we can see any of them showing up in the campaign. A little side quests to see if any of them live or die. But I am really excited just to hop in and try out some of the new weapons and play Call of Duty again, since I haven't played since 2019. So I'm really excited to get into this, and I hope that everybody who's a Call of Duty fan is able to either watch the campaign or enjoy the campaign or enjoy Call of Duty, the new Call of Duty themselves. And if they can't, then hopefully I can give you some kind of enjoyment in watching the actual content of the game. And if you enjoy it, then hopefully one day you get your hands on it yourself and can try it out. But until then, which is only 12 hours away, so I'm excited, and I hope you are too. Until then, we are out of here. We are going to bed. We're taking a nap. We need to sleep. It is time to sleep. But we'll be back. And I don't even know. I'm so tired. I wasn't really checking too much on the summoners. I tried to, but I'm actually pretty tired. But we won a couple things. This right here is Vox. He's one of my favorite. And then obviously Mikey. What did I do? Anyways, this has been Kurz. I hope that all y'all have a wonderful rest of your night. And hope to see you tomorrow. And if not, check it out whenever you get the chance. I don't know why I can't say just peace, goodbye. Like, how do we end this? Like, good night. I don't want to leave. Like, don't leave me. Don't leave.